Today, this morning, in my lovely garden, we are going to talk about the archetype of self-destruction. Very light, very pleasant conversation for us to have in this beautiful Tuesday morning with the birds chirping. But let's dive into darkness, my favorite thing to do in the whole world. And let's look at it, the archetype of self-destruction. First thing to understand about this archetype is that it does not care if you are young or if you are old, if you are a man or a woman, if you are rich or poor or famous or if nobody knows you, it does not care. When it is activated, it's coming to get you. And we live as if we are invulnerable to its activation. We think we are beyond consequences of our life, of our choices. And that's nonsense. So let's look at it through the Dhammapada. This is a sacred Eastern scripture. I have written commentary on it. It's Buddha's words in verse form. The verse that we're going to explore is verse 7 and 8. But one thing to know about an archetype, an easy metaphor of how it is activated, is that you are a fisherman or a fisherwoman, and you are fishing on the ocean of the unconscious, which is your psyche. Hello, doggy. Are you willing to be in this video? And beneath the ocean of the unconscious is the archetypes, the fishes, the sharks, the dolphins. And they are hungry. And the bait that you use to catch an archetype is the lifestyle that you are living. Your lifestyle, what you do from morning to night, day after day, week after week, is the bait that draws the archetype to your hook and you reel it in. And many of us are living unconscious lifestyles. We don't even know what we're doing. We have no plan. We're just rolling around like like Sammy in the mud, without a real aim in life. And that leads to the archetype of destruction. And Buddha has we're so grateful for Buddha because he's given us the recipe for the lifestyle which leads to the archetype of destruction. An archetype is a universal pattern interwoven in human nature. It's part of us. And when this pattern is activated, it begins to circle and gain momentum until it reaches its climax. And the climax of destruction is destruction. So, verse 7 and 8. One who is enchanted by pleasant things. These are Buddha's words. One who is enchanted by pleasant things, whose senses are not controlled, who is immoderate in food, who is idle and weak, Mara, will certainly overthrow them as the wind blows down a weak tree. That's the archetype of self-destruction. The second verse is the reverse of that, the archetype, I guess, of nirvana or self-fulfillment. One who is not enchanted by pleasant things, whose senses are under control, who is moderate in food, faithful and strong, Mara will certainly not overthrow them any more than the wind can push down a mountain. Mara is a force in Buddhism that blocks enlightenment, that blocks truth. It is like the enemy of the mind, the enemy of the soul. And it comes to the weak tree and it comes to the mountain. It comes to all. Mara comes to all to test them, to see how strong you are. And it blows you down if you are cultivating the archetype of self-destruction, and it can't even touch you any more than the wind can blow down a mountain if you are embodying the archetype of fulfillment. Let's go through quickly what Buddha is saying. The recipe for self-destruction. One who is enchanted by pleasant things. Well, that's at the core of Buddhism. This desire. Desire is the cause of suffering. One who is enchanted. Enchanted, just to touch briefly on that word, it doesn't mean just to like. It means to be spellbound, to be obsessed, to be possessed by something. When you're possessed by something, you're chasing it. When you're chasing something, you're out of the moment. Out of the moment, you have no peace. No peace means no truth. No truth means no self. Not in the Buddhist terms, because no self is a very beautiful thing in Buddhism, but in a Western concept, it means having no connection to the core of your being, which is at the heart of disease, especially mental disease. So he says, you want to destroy your life? Chase pleasant things. You want to destroy your life? Don't control your senses. The senses, the eyes, the nose, the mouth, the ears, touch, the mind. Let those run wild. And we see all over the world, men and women whose senses control them, and they destroy their lives. They destroy their family. They are destroying their country. Because what's behind the senses are your instincts, the instinctual forces that have kept the human alive through thousands and thousands of years of the most difficult conditions that you cannot possibly imagine. These forces, these instincts of hunger, of sex, of community, of anger, of rage, of violence, all of these forces are living inside of you. And if your senses are not under control, these forces then act through the senses. And if they are let loose, you cannot stop them. Or at least it's extremely difficult to stop them. That's what Buddha is saying. Want to destroy your life? Chase pleasant things. Don't control your senses. Be immoderate in food. Immoderate in food, pretty simple. You eat too much, big belly. Big belly can't do nothing. Want to lie down and sleep. Tired all the time with your big belly. You don't eat enough, you're tired still. You can't do much if you're hungry all the time. A beautiful story about Vivekananda is that while he was promoting his spiritual knowledge, he realized that nobody can understand spiritual knowledge with an empty belly. So he also needed to promote a humanitarian part of his mission. Because immoderate food is important. Too much can't do much. Too little, you can only do little. Idle and weak. Idleness is laziness. Laziness means you're not growing. Anything that doesn't grow is dying. So if you're idle and weak, you are promoting death. And let's jump to the poetic commentary, because we have seen how to destroy yourself. And now I'm going to give you an example of how I destroyed myself through the poetic commentary. It begins. Clownfish, me, swallows rotting bait, hook, line, and sinker. Mara reels in the undisciplined fool, me, and cooks them for dinner. Clownfish, I am the clownfish. I swallowed a rotting bait, meaning I was living a particular unhealthy lifestyle. That rotting bait revolved around marijuana. I consumed it every day. I was addicted, deeply addicted. And while it provided some pleasant experiences, some beauty, some creative inspiration, I was being reeled in by Mara. The fisherman thinks he's reeling in a fish, but sometimes that fish is bigger than him. And that fish reeling him in. And Mara pulled me underwater. And just as it says here, that as the wind blows down a weak tree, anytime a difficult experience would happen in my life, an interpersonal conflict, something that I could not handle, I was overwhelmed, I was blown down. I wasn't able to face the challenges, the necessary challenges of life, because I was swallowing a rotting bait. And marijuana, as with many substances, weakens your prefrontal cortex, your executive functioning, and you're not able to navigate the world as a healthy, normal human being. And that leads to you getting blown down by a weak tree. Blown down like a weak tree. It leads to Mara reeling in the undisciplined fool and cooking them for dinner. I was cooked for dinner for years. I think Mara eventually got fed up of eating me and was like, boy, you just leave. I taste you enough. you're free to go. And so that's important. It's important for people to really consider this. You're not invulnerable to your choices. You make unhealthy choices, you attract a pattern that is existing inside the human psyche to your life. That pattern is self-destruction, and you put yourself, your life, and the lives of those of people around you at risk. Yeah, let's leave it on a dark note. Let me not make it bright. Let's leave it on a dark note. Okay? I'll see you all. Tata. Oh, comes from my book, Dhammapada, and I'm a therapist. So if you're in need of therapy, talk therapy, I'm a psychologist, you can send me an email. Say goodbye, Tulsi.